an organization that had a head of operations. And when it came to marketing, they're very hands off. There was no operations at all. It was like, oh, well, marketing handles that. Whereas operations tends to filter down to every other department. Is that normal?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. I got my start in ad tech, a bit of growth marketing, manager of largely B2B SaaS organizations, marketing operations professional community, otherwise known as the MoPros. We're working hard to elevate the function every single day. Marketingops.com.
And this has occurred.
The marketing operations professionals have this really unique survey of the landscape of all of the technology and all the data inputs that help sort of usher a customer journey along its path. There's also this reality that like a business's operational procedure isn't something that a marketing operations person ever needs to understand either. Like I don't need to really know how employees get paid or how they get onboarded or any of the sort of like the way that the business, like all of those pieces of an operational flow don't necessarily need to be understood, but somebody does need to run those. There's a reason why there's a head of operations and a COO for that matter. But what's interesting is I and a handful of folks, the COO I think is really due for a shakeup. I think the COO function will likely end up becoming this orchestration role that understands all of the data inputs, inclusive of some of the core business operations pieces and how all of those sort of fit together. Because the next time you want to enter a new market or what have you, there's going to be limitations around the whole operational infrastructure and how that gets, do you need more salespeople? Do you need more marketers? How does sort of all of it fit together? I don't think today's operators, any CEO or COO or CMO, we're starting to have those functions show up from people who have been doing this type of work, this marketing ops, rev ops type of work for the last 10 to 20 years. They're starting to hit those roles now, but prior to that, like this was greenfield stuff, right? Like we've only been at this for like maybe like a better part of a decade, like of really calling it marketing operations. And so that's why I think you don't see the heads of operations sticking their nose into this space, because like they've never had to. It's still totally a whole new ballgame.